Okay, very nice. Okay, let's start the prayer then, Jai. Go ahead.
Okay. Krishna, 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 hey.
Alex,
Krishna, 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 Hey.
Nikunjbai,
Krishna, 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 Raksamam.
Archana,
Krishna 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 Pahimam.
Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava Rakshamam. Jai.
Krishna, Kesava, Krishna, Kesava, Krishna, Kesava, Pahimam.
Excellent. How did the eclipse go today for you?
Didn't notice anything here.
Yeah. I didn't particularly see the eclipse. I was at the house and we had a guest, a visitor from Innovations, which is a company dealing with my mother's subsidence problems, and he arrived about 11 and he left around, well, I don't know, half 12, quarter to 1. So we were kind of just in the house and it came and went. So that's what happens at Kurukshetra. The solar eclipse, especially if one goes to a holy place and performs a yagya and performs some pujas in order to counteract the ill effects of the eclipses. When Rahu attacks the sun planet. Okay, then let's start, Jai.
Okay. After this incident, when the time came for the king to give up his body, he was taken before Yamaraj, the superintendent of death, who asked him whether he first wanted to enjoy the results of his pious activities or suffer the results of his impious activities. Seeing that the king had executed so many pious activities and charities, Yamraj also hinted that he did not know the limit of the king's future enjoyment. In other words, there could be practically no end to king's material happiness. But in spite of this hint, the king, bewildered, decided first to suffer the results of his impious activities and then to accept the results of his pious activities. Therefore, Yamraj immediately turned him into a lizard.
Yamaraj has incredible potency and powers to be able to put the living entity, the jiva, into a lizard body, and that was without usual. What is the usual procedure for acquiring a lizard or a body in the animal or reptile species? What's the usual procedure?
Oh, I'm not sure about procedure, but from what I remember, understand is depending on what you're thinking at the time of death, you might, or is it because of your? No, I don't know.
Yes, 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 yes.
I mean, I just know that whatever you're thinking at the time of death, maybe if in life you're attached to your pet dog, and at the time of death you're thinking of that dog, you'll get a dog's body in the
Yeah,
next life.
yes. Yum Yum Vapi. This is Bhagavad Gita 8:605. Yam Yam Vapi Smaram Bhavam Tyajatyante Kalevaram Tam Tam Evaiti Konteya Sada Tad Bhava Bhavitaha. Whatever you're thinking of, Krishna says, at the time of death, that state you will attain without fail. So this is the story of King Riga, and the usual procedure for acquiring a lower species is that one has to undergo what? The Bakri test. They have to eat 10 million Bakris. They have to undergo the rehabilitation process in the hellish planets. So usually the usual case, this is a special case for by Krishna's arrangement. This is called Krishna karma, where without any fault, of the king, special mercy on the king by Lord Krishna himself personally. The cow he donated to one Brahmin wandered back into the herd, the king's herd, and the king again gave the same cow unknowingly to another Brahmana, and therefore they were both dissatisfied and cursed him. This is a special arrangement by Krishna, and therefore Yamaraj immediately put him into the lizard body without the usual procedure. The usual procedure is heavy punishment by Yamadutas. Heavy punishment. The Yamaduta will punish the soul in the subtle body. There's a special type of form the soul will take on that can endure pain without dying. So the soul will have to simply endure incredible tortures and punishments, and gradually, but through these tortures, the intelligence of the living entity, the human being, their intelligence is taken away from them through so much. It's beaten out of them. So in the case of Nriga, he didn't go through this. It's the same with Bharat Maharaj. When he remembered a deer at the time of death, he entered the body of a deer immediately. He didn't have to undergo the usual procedures of the common living entity, the common soul, who is acting sinfully, is living in ignorance, and is irresponsible in so many ways. Those have to enter into the one of the gates of Yamaloka. There's 4 gates of Yamaloka, and they have to enter into a nasty part of the city, or the not a very nice area, and they have to meet Yamaraj in a fearsome form and undergo severe punishments, and then they're ready then to take the body of a dog or a hog or a lizard or whatever. But this didn't happen to Nriga. This is a special circumstance. I thought I'd just explain that to you so everyone gets the right understanding of how things are going on there. Okay, go ahead, Archana, with the next part, please.
Hare Krishna. King Raga had remained in the well as a big lizard for a very long time. He told Lord Krishna, in spite of being put into the degraded condition of life, I simply thought of you, my dear Lord, and my memory was never vanquished. It appears from this statement of King Raga that person who follow the principle of cultivate activities and derive some material benefits are not very intelligent. Being given the choice by the superintendent of death, Yamraja, King Durga could have first accepted the result of his pious activities. Instead, the thought it better first to receive the effect of his impious activities and then enjoy the effect of his pious activities without disturbance. On the whole, he had not developed Krishna consciousness. The Krishna conscious person developed love of God, Krishna, not love for pious or impious activities. Therefore, he is not subjected to the result of such actions. As stated in Bhagavatam, Brahma Samhita, a devotee by the grace of Lord is not subjected to the reaction of cultivate activities.
Yeah, Krishna takes personal charge. Krishna will take charge of the devotees' karmas and sins, and he will, if he has to go through some suffering, it will be for his benefit. The soul will benefit tremendously from any, like lizard now. He's taking the form of a lizard, and in that form, before he was accepted, he had to endure. He was still thinking in the Yamaloka. He's still weighing it up. You see, he's thinking, well, if I have to go to suffer a body of a lizard, if I go to heaven first, well, what's going to happen in heaven? What's going to be on my mind in heaven? What do you think, Nakunjbai?
He'll be enjoying all his materials. You know, he'll be enjoying drink, wine, food, women. I don't know whatever the enjoyment things are in heaven, and
Oh,
he'll
yeah,
be constantly
it's
mesmerized by them.
Yeah, there's no sin. You don't make the sin in the heavenly world. Here we make the sin. In heaven, it's designed for enjoying without creating the sin.
Yeah.
So there's Nanda and Kanan, the gardens are there, beautiful women are there, the Apsaras are there, the different society girls, and there's a lot of what we would call debauchery, you could say, in one sense, but it's allowed. There's a freedom there, and it's the same in the Bila Swag in the subterranean heavens. There's descriptions of this in the various books, Bible, the Quran, heavenly enjoyment, you know, all this stuff. It's there, but he's thinking, wow, if I'm in heaven and I'm having a party up there in Swag, I'm going to be thinking occasionally, what's going to come in my mind, Archana? What's going to come onto his mind now and then?
Just to enjoy.
But what's going to come on his mind every now and then?
I think I've got an answer.
Yes?
I'm not sure, but surely the time we have in spiritual worlds in terms of heaven, there are certain heavenly planets, is limited. So after maybe he's thinking that, oh, my time is almost up, or my time will come to an end, then I'll have to go back down and suffer or something. I don't know.
Something like that. But what specifically, Jai Prakash, what specifically will be coming onto his mind to spoil the party? Chanaravinda Prabhu? What will be the sand in the sweet rice?
You're on mute.
Yeah.
No, okay, all right. So what it is Yamaraj has told him that you have to take on the body of a lizard. So throughout his heavenly life, if he goes to heaven first, every now and then, he's going to think, oh, once this is over, I'm going to suffer. He's going to be depressed. So it's like, you go on holiday and then you know that, you're bankrupt. You find out you're bankrupt on holiday. Well, that spoils the blinking holiday, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, your house is burned down. You're on holiday. Oh, someone's pinched your car and the house is burned down. Well, that spoils the holiday.
I have a question. So if like, is it possible? So whilst he's in heaven enjoying his delights, but he knows in the back of his mind that he has to take a body of a lizard next time. So is it possible for him to, while his time is in heaven, do some tapasya or do something that will negate his reincarnation as a lizard?
No, in heaven you can't do that. It's
Okay.
it's like it's it's like going to the Bahamas or going to a beautiful place, and everyone's in the enjoying spirit, okay?
Okay.
And it's like going to the middle of a big party and sitting down and doing meditation and tapasya. You cannot do it. People think I can. No, there's above Swargalok, there's Mahalok. Above Mahalok, there's Tapalok. Above Tapalok, there's Sadyalok, Siddhalok, and Brahmalok. So the Mahalok, Tapalok, there, all the tapasvis are there. They're performing great tapasyas, you see. Then in their sangha, one can do tapa.
Okay.
Okay? But in Swag, even if you want to do it by association, as they say in Hindi, jaise sang, vaise rang. So, just by association, you'll get carried away.
Okay.
Just like you know, there was one incident in the a movie I saw a long time ago, Lawrence of Arabia, and there was a part where they were heading for Damascus, and they were going to have their own Arab League of their own government, basically.
Yeah.
And on the way there, one of the villages got ransacked, and the women got killed, murdered, raped, this, that, and the, by the Turks. And they were the one of the main characters was telling Lawrence, was a British officer, don't go after them, don't go after them now. Let's head for Damascus. And he was trying to convince him, but all of them got so carried away to get revenge. Well, we call Badlan. Is it Badlan or Badlan? How do you say it?
Badla.
Badla. They were so in this Badla frame of mind, they all started to attack. And then the man who was saying, don't do it, he got his sword out then. And he got overwhelmed by the
crowd.
the whole mood. He got intoxicated and he ended up.
Okay, I understand.
So by the force, you see, of association, it's extremely difficult. You get in heaven. You're not even born in heaven in Swag. Who knows how you appear in the heavenly planets? Who's read about that? How you appear there. There's no birth in heaven in Swag. Chanaravinda Prabhu? One appears as a Deva Kumar or Deva Kumari. You take the birth there or appear there as a 5-year-old. There's no birth, there's no teething, there's no nappy rash, there's no miseries of birth for the mums. The mums don't have to go through it, neither do the babies, the child. There's a special arrangement. You appear there as a Deva Kumara or Deva Kumari, and you will grow, and then the aging process isn't also not the same there. You have a garland, and a garland fades. As the garland fades, your time of death will come, and you fall from the heaven in the rain. You come down in the barish, and then enter into grains, and the grain is eaten by the male, and again through the semina, one is the grain is turned into blood semina, and again one is injected into the womb by the process of this planet of procreation, and again one takes on a temporary human form. That's the process as explained in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so he's decided now, I'm not going to go to heaven. I'll take on the body of a lizard purely on materialistic calculations. Purely he's calculating, look, I can't enjoy. My enjoyment's going to be spoiled. So let me suffer first, then I'll enjoy later. Hallelujah. That's the idea. Typical Kali Yuga, male mentality. But this is Dwapara Yuga, but still, this is the mentality. All right, so let's carry on, Alex, with the next part.
Hare Krishna.
Oh, you can-
Somehow or other, as a result of his pious activities, King Nirga had aspired to see the Lord. He continued, "My dear Lord, I had a great desire that someday I might be able to see you personally. I think that this great desire to see you, combined with my tendency to perform ritualistic and charitable activities, has enabled me to retain the memory of who I was in my former life. Even though I became a lizard, such a person who remembers his past life is called Jatasmara. In modern times, also, these are instances of small children recalling many details of their past lives. My dear Lord, you are the super soul seated in everyone's heart. There are many great mystic yogis who have the eyes to see you through the Vedas and the Upanishads, to achieve the elevated position of realizing that they are equal in quality with you, they always meditate on you within their hearts. But although such exalted saintly persons may see you constantly within their hearts, they still cannot see you face to face. Therefore, I am very much surprised that I am able to see you. You personally, I know that I was engaged in so many activities, especially as a king. Although I was in the midst of the luxury and opulence and was subject to so much of the happiness and misery of material existence, I am so fortunate to be seeing you personally. As far as I know, when one becomes liberated from material existence, he can see you in this way. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so there we are. He's revealing that at some point he did have some desire to see the Lord, but as we all experience, we are up and down like a yo-yo. Sometimes we have a lot of feeling for the Lord, and sometimes we have feeling for this material world and how to enjoy it in different ways. And this is I've experienced this, and Chanaravinda probably, definitely, I would say, in the ashram experienced it. You know, sometimes you're doing the sadhana, you're up in the morning, you're chanting, you're fully into the whole process, Hare Krishna mantra, lectures. Then there's a certain point, you lose all the taste. It just seems to go away, and you're hankering for some kind of material um, situation. In my case, I definitely remember I had women came in my mind, the female form, the dreaded female form came in my mind, and I had to fight. I had to fight it to get it out of my mind, and it's very, very difficult to do that especially when you're in your 20s. And then sometimes a hankering for some experience from the past. You know, you want to play some music, or you want to do something that's, you know, it comes over, and then again, the sense of bhakti comes. So at one point, this king did have some desire, but Krishna could see that. So Krishna arranged like this, and as he said, he had this jati. Jati means family, or connection with family. Smara, jati smara means that you could remember your previous life. And there are many instances like this. We all know that. It can be a bit of a curse if you're remembering your previous life. You can't really get on with this life. But some people, they remember, then they'll forget anyway their previous lives. But Krishna's given him a special mercy to get this lizard body, because now, as a lizard, he had the opportunity to think things through a bit, you know. And just like now, recently there was a crocodile who passed away in the Kerala, in the temple in Kerala, and this crocodile was 130 years of age. I forget how old, quite old, and he had been there in the temple for at least 70 years anyway. He was a vegetarian. He used to just eat the prasad, and you know, he wasn't eating the he wasn't eating the guests. He wasn't having guest prasadam. He was eating prasad, and everyone got to realize that this crocodile is very special. And of course, you know, there are many instances of Gandharvas and Apsaras as well, and various heavenly Swagvasis being cursed by rishis, by Indra. Indra also curses sometimes to become the crocodile is a very popular form to be cursed to become on this planet. But he was, anyway, he was put into this body as a reptile, and he could, this gave him a chance to reconsider things. And now he's pouring his heart out. Beautiful prayers are coming out. So go ahead, Jigna, with the next part.
Is it when King Nriga?
Yeah.
When King Nriga elected to receive the results of his impious activities, he was given the body of a lizard because of the mistake in his pious activities. Thus, he could not be directly converted to a higher status of life like a great demigod. However, along with his pious activities, he thought of Krishna, so he was quickly released from the body of a lizard and given the body of a demigod. By worshipping the Supreme Lord, those who desire material opulences are given the bodies of powerful demigods. Sometimes these demigods can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face, but they are still not yet eligible to enter into the spiritual kingdom, the Vaikuntha planets. However, if the demigods continue to be devotees of the Lord, the next chance they get, they will enter into the Vaikuntha planets.
Yeah, they generally, as I said, and this is all explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam in different areas, that the Swagvasis, they're not Shud Vaishnava or Shud Bhaktas. They're called Mishra. There's something Mishra Bhakti. Excuse me. Karma Mishra Bhaktas. Karma Mishra Bhaktas. They want to enjoy the results of their karmas, and they have a mixed type of bhakti. They they know it's good to be a sura. A sura is a devata. Sura is a godly. They're conscious. They're God conscious, but their the degree of their God conscious is conditional. It's conditional. Whilst the Shud Vaishnava, their bhakti is what? Is unconditional. Unconditional bhakti. Their devotion is not based on, oh Krishna, if I have this situation, I'll serve you. If this goes right, I'm happy. Or if things go wrong, they increase their devotion to the Lord. If they're tested and they go through very hard times, they don't waver. Whilst the conditional bhakta, when things start wobbling and things aren't going right in their life, they give up the whole thing. They think, oh, I'll become a Christian now. It's easier. I'll just become I'll either a Christian or whatever, or maybe I just end up down the pub, down the Darukateka, having have a lager, please. Forget about Krishna. Half a lager, please, John. This is what happens. Okay, Charanavinda Prabhu, carry on.
Where are we? Can we?
Oh, dear me, you don't know where we are. Haven't you got it written down with you?
I have got it now, but I need that to starting place.
Can you tell him, Jigna?
Yes, it's having attained the body of a demigod. It's sort of midway down.
Having attained the body of a demigod. Go ahead, Prabhu.
When King Nigra elected, having attained the body of a demigod, yeah, King Nigra continued to remember everything he said. Isn't it?
Yeah,
Like
that's correct.
You are the Supreme Lord and are worshipped by all the demigods. You are not one of the ordinary living entities. You are the Supreme Being, the Supreme Person, Purushottama. You are the source of all happiness for all living entities. Therefore, you are as Govinda. You are the Lord of those living entities who have accepted material bodies and those who have not yet accepted material bodies. Among the living entities who have not accepted material bodies are those who hover in the material world as evil spirits or live in the ghostly atmosphere. However, those who live in the spiritual kingdom, the Vaikuntha lokas, have bodies not made of material elements. You, my Lord, are infallible. You are the supreme, the purest of all living entities. You live in everyone's heart. You are the shelter of all living entities. Narayana, being seated in the heart of all living beings, you are the supreme director of everyone's sensual activities. Therefore, you are called Hirishikesh.
Oh yeah, Rishikesh is the master of the sun, the owner of the body. Kesh, Rishik Isha. Rishik is the senses, the body, and Isha is the one who is actually the owner or the control. The real controller of this body is the Lord, because we are not controlling. I am not controlling my digestion. I'm not controlling how to move my arms. I'm not doing any of this. I don't know how it's going on. I'm just willing it, and by the grace of the Lord, through the devatas, karmanan daivanetena, jantra deho papataye. By the arrangement of the devatas, I'm able to move and do stuff. It's not me doing it. Definitely, I'm not. I'm simply enjoying the experience of it, but I'm not the doer. So that's a nice prayer there. And of course, the living entities, there are subtle beings, the ghosts, the guyakas, the pisachas, the pretas, the different types of ghostly beings on the Rahu planet. Rahu is inhabited by millions of ghosts. It's 700 miles above the Earth planet. It's a subtle planet, along with Ketu, the tail of the comet. These are subtle planets, but inhabited by ghosts. And the living entity in Vaikuntha, they have bodies, but they're not material. In the Vaikuntha, the form is pure consciousness. The form is made of consciousness itself, whilst in this world, our form is made of temporary matter, which is forced upon the unconscious living entity, the sleeping soul. There, you're fully conscious and you're in your pure state, your pure conscious state as consciousness. So that is the stage of real life, when you're in your consciousness body, or your spiritual body, your spiritual form, Sarup, which doesn't decay, because consciousness can't be decayed. It can't be touched by matter. Consciousness is completely disassociated from this material world. But somehow or another, we're in it, and we are now covered by a Ahankar. Anyway, enough of that. Let's carry on with Namrata for the next part. Your sound, please.
Hare Krishna. My dear Supreme Lord Krishna, because you have given me this body of a demigod, I will have to go to some heavenly planet. So I am taking this opportunity to beg for your mercy. I pray that I may have the benediction of never forgetting your lotus feet, no matter to which form of life or planet I may be transferred. You are all pervading, present everywhere as cause and effect. You are the cause of all causes, and your power is unlimited. You are the absolute truth, the supreme personality of Godhead, and the supreme Brahma. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you again and again. My dear Lord, your body is full of transcendental bliss and knowledge, and you are eternal. You are the master of all mystic powers. Therefore, you are known as Yogeshwara. Kindly accept me as an insignificant particle of dust at your lotus feet. Beautiful prayer.
Yeah, these are nice prayers. Nariga is in a kind of a liberated position. He's not completely liberated, but because he's undergone this tragedy of being cursed by these Brahmins to die. Basically, he was cursed to die and go to Yamaloka. He died. He went to the Yamaloka planet. He was then given the option to go to heaven enjoy or suffer the body of a lizard first. He chose to suffer first wisely, because if he'd gone to heaven, he would have been bugged. He would have been bugged every day in his mind. Oh, I'm enjoying, but later, I'm not looking, and he'd be trying to forget about that, and it'd be bothering him. So he decided, let me go to heaven, to this lizard body, and in that lizard form, he had the time to reconsider his attitude to his karma kandya activities. Because just one mistake like that, he accrued great piety, lot of sukritis. He could go to heaven for a long time. But it's very similar to going on holiday for like a you go on holiday. What's the average holiday time you go on holiday for usually?
10 days, week.
10 days? Is
2
it
weeks.
2 weeks? 2 weeks? Jai Prakash, Prabhu?
About 7 days.
7 to 10 days, a couple of
Yeah.
weeks if you're lucky. So his standard of he had accrued so much piety that he was like going on compared to going on a world cruise for 1 year. So, you know, when you go on the world cruise for 1 whole year, different ports around the world, seeing different countries, that's a lot better than a 2-week holiday. Now, who would like to go on a world cruise around the world for 1 year? Alex
but-
doesn't. Alex,
No.
you know why? Alex is stuck in the middle of the mountains there.
No, the world cruise is people forget the flus, the diarrhea, the
Exactly.
Oh.
Exactly.
you.
Hey, without all that, without that, it's
I'm-
natural. It's natural that people would like, oh, my mother wouldn't like it. She doesn't like the sea. She can't swim. If she fell in the sea, she'd go down like a stone.
Probably, I'm only kidding. We all know what you mean. I mean, it's it's all about the luxury, yeah.
Yeah, it's a
But,
luxury. The beautiful big boat there, and 2 swimming pool, indoor, outdoor swimming pool, all this stuff. You know, for most people, even for devotees. I mean, I do remember one devotee from Germany. I was thinking to buy his car, but it had leather seats, and I didn't like it. But he had bought a lovely car from Germany, and I was looking at it, but I didn't buy it. But he said, I'm selling my car. I've just sold this, and I'm taking my family on a world cruise for 1 year. He was going on around the world, Brazil, everywhere, Australia. You know, they were doing the works for a whole year. So fair enough, you know, that's a great experience in one sense, once you get used to the seasickness. But his enjoyment was going to be extremely advanced. But, you know, that lizard life really made him think and made him develop a lot of devotion for the Lord. And now the Lord's personally appeared to give Nriga this special benediction. So let's go back to Jai and Chanaravinda Prabhu. Did you find it yet?
Well, I just did one, didn't I?
Oh, you just
I'll
did it.
do
Okay,
another.
Jai, go ahead, Jai.
I'll do another.
Let's go to Jai first.
Okay.
Before entering the heavenly planets, King Riga circumambulated the Lord, touched his helmet to the Lord's lotus feet and bowed before him. Seeing the airplane from the heavenly planets present before him, he was given permission by the Lord to board it. After the departure of King Riga, Lord Krishna expressed his appreciation for the king's devotion to the Brahmins, as well as his charitable disposition and his performance of Vedic rituals. Therefore, it is recommended that if one cannot directly become a devotee of the Lord, one should follow the Vedic principles of life. This will enable him one day to see the Lord by being promoted either directly to the spiritual kingdom or indirectly to the heavenly kingdom, where he has hope of being transferred to the spiritual planets.
Yeah, and this is it. After that experience of being a lizard, he's got what we call gambir. He has a tremendous gravity. It's like when you've been through suffering, you've gone through a heavy flu or some disease, a life-threatening sickness. You know, it really does ground you. You get very grounded when you've gone through a lot of suffering, and we get, they say get real. So in other words, even he could go to the heavens, and he could source out good association with his mentality. Whilst when most people, materialistic people, they're trying to go to heaven, they haven't got a hope in hell of developing devotion for God, or they just get completely carried away. And again, Tetam Bhuktva Swagalokam Vishalam Kshine Punya Martyalokam Vishanti Tete Prabhava Anupapanam Gatagatam Kama Kamala Bhante. This is from the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, after enjoying heavenly enjoyment for a very long time, thousands and thousands of earth years, you're enjoying in heaven. Again, after the kshine punya, after your punya is kshine, it is finished. Again, vishanti, you have to descend again to this world, and then again we're born and go through the whole thing again. So he's been given special mercy here. What we got here? Can anyone please place a URL for the book? Oh, having attained the body of death. All right, that's Jigna trying to help you out there, Prabhu. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, let's go. Let's go to Alex for the next part.
Hare Krishna. At this time, Lord Krishna was present amongst his relatives who were members of the Kashta class. To teach them through the exemplary character of King Riga, he said, even though a Kashta king may be as powerful as fire, it is not possible for him to usurp the property of a Brahmana and utilize it for his own purpose. If this is so, how can ordinary kings who falsely think of themselves the most powerful beings within the material world usurp a Brahmana's property? I do not think that taking poison is as dangerous as taking a Brahmana's property. For ordinary poison, there is treatment. One can be relieved from its effects. But if one drinks the poison of taking a Brahmana's property, there is no remedy for the mistake. The perfect example of this is King Riga. He was very powerful and was very pious. But due to the small mistake of unknowingly usurping a Brahmana's cow, he was condemned to the abominable life of a lizard. Ordinary poison affects only those who drink it. An ordinary fire can be extinguished simply by pouring water on it. But the Arani fire, ignited by the spiritual potency of the Brahmana, who is dissatisfied, can burn to ashes the whole family of a person who provokes such a Brahmana. For many Brahmanas used to ignite the fire of sacrifice not with matches or any other external fire, but with their powerful mantras called Arani. If someone even touches a Brahmana's property, his family is ruined for 3 generations. However, if a Brahmana's property is forcibly taken away, the taker's family for 10 generations before him and 10 generations after him will be subjected to ruination. On the other hand, if someone becomes a pure Vaishnava or devotee of the Lord, 10 generations of his family before his birth and 10 generations after will be liberated. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
There we are. So when I first joined the ashram, because different people were joining as new bhaktas, and we were all bhaktas this and bhakta that, and there was bhakta. Were you a bhakta Clive or a bhakta John, Prabhu?
Yeah. Well, back to I don't.
Can't remember. Bhakta something. I was bhakta Steve.
Yeah.
And then we were subjected to this story for all the new bhaktas. because sometimes, you know, people come in the ashram, new people, you don't know what they're like. And sometimes things did go missing, you see. Watches would go missing. So sometimes we have some people in the ashram, they were chores. They were a chore. Back to chore. So this story was actually recited, you know, told at night time. I remember us reading it. And so we would see that, understand the consequences of stealing from devotees, from who are potential brahmanas, is very severe, and we shouldn't touch the property of a devotee. Otherwise, you know, things will be ruined, and there's no doubt about it. That is a fact. So, and if you do become a pure devotee, then 10, or in Prahlad Maharaj's case, the word is 11 generations, I believe, but that's including the present generation, so it would be 10 plus 1 is 11. So anyway, let's carry on. Go ahead, Nikunj Bhai.
Lord Krishna continued, if some foolish king who is puffed up by his wealth, prestige, and power wants to usurp a Brahmana's property, he should be understood to be clearing his path to hell. He does not know how much he has to suffer for such an unwise act. If someone takes away the property of a very liberal Brahmana who is encumbered by a large dependent family, then such a usurper is put into the hell known as Kumbhipaka. Not only is he put into this hell, but his family members also have to accept such a miserable condition of life. A person who takes away a Brahmana's property, whether it was originally given by him or by someone else, is condemned to live for at least 60,000 years in a miserable insect and stool. Therefore, I instruct you, all my boys and relatives present here, do not even by mistake take the possession of a Brahmana and thereby pollute your whole family. If someone even wishes to possess such property, let alone attempts to take it away by force, the duration of his life will be reduced. He'll be defeated by his enemies, and after bereft of his royal position, when he gives up his body, he'll become a serpent, giving trouble to other living entities. My dear boys and relatives, I therefore advise you that even if a Brahmana becomes angry with you and calls you by ill names or curses you, still you should not retaliate. On the contrary, you should smile, tolerate him, and offer your respects to the Brahmana. You know very well that even I myself offer obeisances to the Brahmanas with great respect, that 3 times daily. You should therefore follow my instruction and example. I should not forgive anyone who does not follow them, and I should punish him. You should learn from the example of King Narga that even if someone unknowingly usurps the property of a Brahmana, he is put into a miserable condition of life.
Wow. So even if we, it's a reason to be angry with it. See, this is another problem in Kali Yuga, because there's Brahma Bandhus. There, a lot of Brahmanas are just relatives of a Brahman. They don't actually possess the qualities of a, or sattvic qualities of a Brahman, because Brahman means sattva gun. So some people have taken advantage of these statements and abused their position of being a Brahmin, you see, and put the lower castes down and use their position in materially in a prestigious way, so that they gain power over us and all this sort of nonsense. So that's one of the downsides. But still, we have to be so careful to avoid it. Upsetting, offending a Brahmin, taking something from a Brahmin is very, very severe punishment for that. Archana, carry on.
Thus, Lord Krishna, who is always engaged in purifying the conditioned living entities, gave instruction not only to his family members and inhabitants of Dwarka, but to all members of human society. After this, the Lord entered his palace. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 64th chapter of Krishna, the story of King Raga.
Oh, really nice. That's a really nice chapter there. So let's just ask if anybody can tell us anything they've realized from that short reading there. Is anybody can tell us something? Did anything strike a note with you on this issue?
The thing that I was thinking about was how King Riga became a lizard, but because of his thought process and his pious activities, he still retained that worshipping the Lord, and he still remembered that.
Yeah, that's
We-
Jati Smara. Jati Smara. He was given that benediction due to his pious activities.
yeah,
And he didn't have to undergo the usual procedure or the usual system of entering a lower species, which is to go to Yamaloka. You have to enter into the Sabha. It's a court situation. You're in a court there. So the Saptarishis are there. Chitragupta is there, and your life is read out. This is what you did when you were 5, when you were 6, when you were 10, when you were 12, when you were 20. It's all there. Very quickly it goes through, and then they very quickly can understand. Okay, according to all these things, you're going to get this type of body, and you have to go into Kumbhipaka, you have to go to Rorava, you have to go to this place, Sandangsha. There's so many naraks, Taptasurmi, nasty places. Some really horrible Ayapana. These are naraks, and then your body you will be prepared to receive the body of a worm in stool, a worm living as a worm for 60,000 years. Hey, how do you fancy? Anybody fancy a worm for 60,000 years?
No.
So these are very severe punishments because people perform very severe sins. So yes,
So in a way, his choice of spending his time to pay for his impious deeds worked quite well for him, because that gave him that time to think about what
Yeah.
the better options were, and thinking about the Lord. So that had he gone the other way, he probably would not have been thinking about the Lord at all.
Well, he did at one point. You see, it's written there that
Yeah.
at one point he did have thoughts of the Lord, but he did have some sentiment was there, and he was a very good person. He was very dutiful. He looked after the citizens. He performed yagyas. He gave tremendous charity to the Brahmins. Hundreds of thousands of cows decorated with gold horns, with gold silver hoofs, all this stuff. He really did incredible. His piety was beyond measure. But therefore, he was given this special benediction. And it happened to the sons of Kuvera when in the story in Kartik, we sing this bhajan. Kuverat majo bhada murtya vajadvat tvayam mochito bhakti bhaja kitocha tata bhema bhaktim svakam me payachcha namokshe grahomesti damodareha. This is in the Damodara Ashtaka prayers. And the sons of Kuver, Manigriva and Nalakuvara, they were in the swag enjoying Kuver, their father, Kuver. He is the richest of the demigods. He is the banker. He is this treasurer of all the devtas. So they're enjoying, they're billionaires' sons, multi-billionaires' sons. So, they're enjoying, and of course they get cursed by Narada. And then Narada knows if they're born as trees, they're in the Nanda Maharaj's courtyard, Krishna will save them. And that was a special curse. So sometimes the curses are there for special souls, that they have to undergo the punishment, they have to go through tortures and hellish suffering. Even with Bharat Maharaj, he had to become a deer for one life. One may become a crocodile. But even though you're in this situation, your consciousness is not taken away. The worst thing is when you're degraded to the lower species and your consciousness, your human consciousness that you've developed is retracted through the punishments of Yamaduta. That is when we lose the human form. But that didn't happen in this case. Okay, well, Ramesh Bhai. Oh, Ramesh is here. Hare Krishna, Ramesh Bhai.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Happy Diwali ji.
Same to you.
And Sal Mubarak for tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you. Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
tomorrow's Govardhan Puja. And at the Bhaktivedanta Mana, we'll be offering. I used to do the kirtan every year for Govardhan Puja at Bhaktivedanta Mana. I used to do when we do the Go Puja. I used to do the kirtan and the songs for the kirtan for the cows. So I had all the cow songs ready. All the cow bhajans and cow kirtans. So let's do a cow kirtan now for you. I just thought about it now because we've missed you today. We missed you again. Sorry about that. I didn't see you were there. So let's do a cow kirtan. Shall we do a cow? Yeehaw! Let's do a cow kirtan. This is a...
Pratap.
All right. G, J. Okay, it's not easy to do this on this guitar. Let's try this one. G. Let's do a different. Jai Govinda. Okay, let's do this one. Jai Govinda. Jai Govinda. Jai Gopal. Keshava Madhava Dina Dayal. Jai Govinda. Jai Gopal. Keshava Madhava Dina Dayal. Dina Dayal Prabhu, Dina Dayal, Dina Dayal Prabhu, Dina Dayal, Keshava Madhava, Dina Dayal, Keshava Madhava, Dina Dayal. Now, Chan Aravinda will get his drum now. He'll get his drum. And he'll give us some Govinda Jai Jai with lots of Jai 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 Jai.
Let me see.
I don't play guitar very often, but I'm just doing a little bit now. Jai Govinda. You know this song? Jai Govinda, Jai Gopal, Keshava Madhava, Dina Dayal. Then this one. Shama Sundar, Kanaya Lal, Girivardhari, Nanda Dulal. Nanda Dulal Prabhu, Nanda Dulal. Nanda Dulal Prabhu, Nanda Dulal. Girivardhari, Nanda Dulal. Girivardhari, Nanda Dulal. Take it away. Here he comes. Here comes. Now, Chan Aravinda's he's falling off the chair. He's falling off the chair. He's falling off. He's falling off the window. Achyuta Keshava Shridharo Madhava Govinda Gopala Hari. Achyuta Keshava Shridharo Madhava Govinda Gopala Hari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, Namrata, take it away. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Okay, Archana, go for it, Archana. Hang on.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Okay. Jai, Prakash and Alex together. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Okay, Jigna. Last one with Jigna and Bapuji. Bapuji. Bolo Bolo.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Come on, Ramesh Bhai.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Okay, we've got the drum. We've got the drum now. We got the drum. Go ahead. Here's the drum.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Haribol. Now, Govinda Jai Jai.
Govinda, Govinda, Gopala, Govinda, Govinda, Gopala, Govinda, Govinda, Gopala. Jai, 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 jai. Jai, 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 jai. Govinda, Govinda, Gopala, Govinda, Govinda, Gopala, Govinda, Govinda, Gopala.
Govinda Govinda Gopala. Fantastic. Haribol.
Hare Bo, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Well,
Hare Krishna.
that was nice to hear. Alex, I hope you enjoyed the guitar.
Yeah. Rock and roll, rock and roll.
This is the guitar kirtan. Okay,
Hare
we will
Hare
see you.
Krishna.
We'll see you next week, and have a happy New Year tomorrow. And
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare
Too
Krishna.
sweet. Don't eat too many sweets. Go
Prabhuji,
easy, go easy on those jalebi and pizza there.
Prabhuji,
Yeah.
Yes,
are you going to come to the temple tomorrow?
not the manna. No, it's not. I can't go there tomorrow. It's not possible. We're way too far.
Okay.
We're way too. But for many years, I was doing that kirtan for the Go Puja.
Yeah.
Oh,
Many
okay.
years. I had all these Govinda Jai Jai, like Prabhu was singing, Jai Govinda Jai Gopal, Jai Radhe, Jai Krishna, Jai Brindavan, all these sort of kirtans and dunes
Yeah.
we were doing specifically with the cows, you know, all the cow kirtans. So I was doing it for a long time. Oh gosh, 80s and the 90s, up until 2010, I think.
Okay.
Okay, anyway, we will see you soon. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare
Happy New
Krishna.
Year.
Oh,
Happy New
Bye.
Year, all of you.
Happy New
Bye.
Year.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.